So picture this, a mysterious object, a visitor from way outside our solar system, comes zooming past the sun. The whole world is watching, and then nothing, just silence from NASA. Well, today we're going to unpack the incredible story of this object, 3I Atlas, and see how it went from a total cosmic mystery to an absolute scientific marvel.
All right, so here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll jump right into NASA's big reveal. Then, we'll hit rewind and go back to when this thing was first discovered. We'll talk about that crazy period of speculation, dig into the actual science that sorted everything out, and finally, we'll look at where this interstellar visitor is off to next.
Okay, let's just dive right in, and we're going to start at the most dramatic part of the story, the moment NASA finally broke its silence and started answering the whole world's questions.
I mean, after a government shutdown basically caused a total information blackout, this was the question on everyone's mind. You can just imagine, the speculation was running absolutely wild, and the whole world was just holding its breath, waiting for an official word.
And when the answer finally came, you could just feel the excitement. I mean, listen to this quote from NASA's Nikki Fox. This wasn't some dry scientific update. The key phrase here, before our own solar system. Wow. Think about that for a second. That means we could be looking at a piece of something, a building block from a totally different star system. I mean, it's like a message in a bottle from a time and place we can barely even comprehend. Okay, so now that you have that incredible context, let's rewind. Let's go all the way back to the beginning and see exactly how this whole cosmic detective story kicked off.
So first things first, what exactly is an interstellar object? Well, it's pretty much what it sounds like, a traveler from between the stars. You know, most comets and asteroids were born right here in our own solar system. But these things, they're just passing through on a one-way trip. And get this, 3I Atlas is only the third one we've ever been able to confirm. Just a third.
So its story, for us anyway, begins back in July of 2025. The Atlas Telescope Network, which, its whole job is to scan the sky for things that might hit us, was the first to spot this faint, kind of weird object. And what made it so weird was its path, its trajectory. It wasn't orbiting our sun like everything else we see. Nope, this thing was clearly an outsider just passing through. Okay, fast forward to October 30th, 2025. The object, which now has its official name, 3I/Atlas, makes its closest flyby of our sun. But close is, well, it's relative, right? Because its closest point was still a mind-boggling 130 million miles away. And just to give you a sense of how huge that distance is, think about how far away the sun is from us here on Earth. Now, double that. Yeah, that's how far this thing was, even at its closest. And that detail is super important because it meant that right from the get-go, we knew it was no danger to us at all. And this is where the story gets really interesting. Because right as this amazing cosmic event is happening, right as everyone's getting excited, official communication here on Earth just stopped. It came to a grinding halt.
Just take a look at this timeline. It really lays it all out. So the comet gets spotted in July. But then, boom, October 1st, the US government shuts down. And this is right before the comet's closest approach at the end of the month. I mean, that's the absolute best time to be watching it. So what happens? A total information vacuum that lasts all the way until mid-November.
You know, it's funny. As one of NASA's top guys, Amit Satria, pointed out, the shutdown actually had this weird, ironic effect. With zero official updates coming out, public interest just exploded. The silence didn't make people less curious, it did the exact opposite. It amplified it, and everyone's imagination just ran wild about what this thing could possibly be.
Okay, so you've got all this speculation swirling around. How did NASA finally cut through all that noise and give us the real story? Well, let's get into the science.
First off, it is super important to understand the difference between two very different things. Think of it like two separate buckets. In one bucket, you have a natural interstellar comet. In the other, you have what the government calls UAPs, or Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena. Now, those are investigated by the Pentagon's AARO office because, if you don't know what something is, it could be a security risk. But 3I/Atlas, it landed squarely right away in that first bucket, the scientific one.
And this right here shows you the step-by-step process that was happening the whole time, behind the scenes, even during the shutdown. Observatories were reporting their data, the NASA's team that tracks this stuff calculated its exact path, and boom, they very quickly confirmed it was no threat to Earth.
It was all a very calm, very clear scientific process, totally separate from all the wild speculation going on.
So here's the bottom line. NASA confirmed there were no techno-signatures, no radio signals, no engine burns, nothing artificial. But, and this is a big but, they also confirmed it wasn't just some boring old space rock. Just like Nikki Fox said, it's the differences, the ways it's not like our own comets, that's what makes it so incredibly cool and scientifically tantalizing. And to study those differences, man, NASA pointed pretty much everything they had at this thing. We're talking about a full-on cosmic paparazzi. The James Webb, Hubble, Perseverance on Mars, the list goes on. Each one of these instruments sees the universe in a different way, giving them a complete picture of what this comet is made of, its temperature, how it's acting, all of them focused on this one single visitor as it passed by.
All right, so what now? Where does the story go from here? Well, the comet itself is heading back out into deep space. But you know what? Its story for us is definitely not over yet.
Yeah, the observation campaign is still going strong. As 3I/Atlas makes its way out of our solar system, it's going to cross Jupiter's orbit in the spring of 2026. And that's going to give scientists another amazing chance to study it from totally different angles and distances. And maybe the most exciting part of this whole thing is this. Visitors like 3I/Atlas, they might not be so rare for much longer. As NASA's Kelly Fast mentioned, we've got way more advanced telescopes coming online all the time. And that means we should expect to start finding a lot more of these interstellar messengers just passing through our cosmic neighborhood. Which, of course, leaves us with one final, huge question. This one object, 3I/Atlas, gave us a tiny peek into another star system from another time. It just makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other travelers are out there right now, heading our way, carrying who knows what secrets from distant stars, just waiting for us to find them?